Today's lesson is booking a ride. Hello, everyone. I'm Mike.
I am Roger, and today we're booking a ride, which means you're arranging transportation for a particular reason when you don't have the transportation yourself, if you don't have your own car or your own scooter, or you're not going to take the bus or the train. You're going to call Uber or get a taxi or whatever, so you are arranging a ride or you are booking a ride. And today we've got a conversation going on between a taxi driver and Molly, who is trying to arrange transportation in the Big Apple, New York City.
Absolutely. As a lot of people know, with all sorts of wonderful web apps for things like Uber and Lyft, and of course taxi companies have their own apps these days. Booking a ride is easy as clicking on your phone, touching your phone, swiping a few things, giving in a little bit of information, and setting up the time when you will be picked up. And yeah, especially if you're a tourist visiting a new city where you might not know the transportation network and time might be an issue. Booking a ride is a very simple thing to do and can make your life extremely convenient. But there are a few ins and outs. I don't do this very much. I'm still old-fashioned. I stand on a street corner and stick my hand out and hope a yellow taxi pulls over.
You flag a taxi.
I flag a taxi, exactly right. So let's check out how you book a ride, especially if you're in a big city like New York City, where, of course, there are many of these services, but also many people trying to use them. Let's follow Molly as she books a ride in part 1, a special request. Booking a ride. 1. A special request. While visiting New York City, Molly calls a taxi driver about a booking she made in advance.
Hi, this is Molly Price. I booked a pickup with you for 3 p.m. today, but I need to change the time to 3:30. I also have a large suitcase. Can you accommodate that?
Sure, no problem. I'll adjust the pickup time to 3:30. And don't worry about the suitcase. I've got plenty of space for it.
Great. Thank you for being flexible. I'll see you at 3:30 then?
Yes, I'll be there at 3:30. Just look out for the yellow cab with the blue logo.
Okay, see you then, and thanks again.
You're welcome. See you soon.
大家好，第一部分介绍名词 pick up， 它的意思是接送人，也可以是提货或是取走物品的意思。例如 A delivery service will make the pickup at your office tomorrow morning. 宅配将于明天早上到你的办公室取货。或者 Your meal will be ready for pickup in 15 minutes. 你的餐点将在15分钟内准备好取餐。再来看到名词 suitcase， 表示旅行用的手提箱或是行李箱。例如The airline lost Brenda's suitcase while she was flying to London. 航空公司在 Brenda 飞往伦敦时弄丢了她的行李箱。或是 I packed all of the clothing that I would need for my trip in my suitcase. 我把旅行时所需要的所有衣服都装在行李箱里。后面介绍动词 adjust， 表示调整。我们可以说 My eyes were hurting, so I adjusted the brightness of my screen. 我的眼睛很痛，所以我调整了萤幕的亮度。又或者说 I adjusted the seat on the plane so that it would be more comfortable. 我调整了飞机座椅，这样坐起来会比较舒服。接着看到 logo 这个单字，它是名词，意思是公司的标志。例如 Having a visible logo will help your company with its sales. 拥有一个显而易见的标志将有助于你的公司销售。又或者说 Nike's logo is a simple check, which is now recognized by millions of people worldwide. Nike 的标志是一个简单的打勾符号，现在已经被全球数百万人认得。
Okay, so conversation 1 is all about a special request, which means you want to have some special treatment, and that's what Molly is asking for in this particular case. While visiting New York City, Molly calls a taxi driver about a booking she made in advance. So if something's done in advance, it's done ahead of time. She has already made this reservation. She has already made this booking, but she has a special request. She has something else that she wants to ask the taxi driver I guess she arranged this directly with the driver and not through some company or something like that.
All right. Well, that makes sense. So she begins the call. Hi, this is Molly Price. I booked a pickup with you for 3 p.m. today, but I need to change the time to 3:30. All right. So this is kind of a follow-up inquiry here. She's already booked the taxi. She arranged it maybe yesterday evening or earlier today. She booked a pickup for 3 p.m. today. That is the time she has arranged to be picked up. When we say pick up as a noun, we're basically talking about a time when you will be collected by someone, when you will meet someone to go somewhere. And to use it as a verb, you would just separate those two words into pick up. What time will you pick me up? I'll pick you up at 2 o'clock in front of the 7-Eleven by your house or something. That is where we have arranged our pickup, that moment when we will meet to go somewhere. So she's arranged to be picked up or booked a pickup for 3 p.m., but she needs to change the time. She needs to sort of adjust that a little bit, make it slightly later. She needs to change the time to 3:30. And then she also gives a bit of useful information for the driver. I also have a large suitcase. So she has a large bag with her. A suitcase, of course, is a very common type of luggage that you would take when you travel somewhere. You can fit all your stuff for your 2 or 3 week holiday in a suitcase, especially a large suitcase. But yes, it can be kind of a hassle to lift and move and carry. If you've ever tried to take a large suitcase on a crowded MRT as you're heading out to the train station, you know that it can be a little inconvenient, which is another reason you might arrange for a pickup. So she wants to know if they can accommodate that. To accommodate something in this way, it basically means, can you handle that? Can you fit this into your plans? Okay, if I'm going to someone's home for dinner and I'm bringing a friend who is a vegetarian or a vegan, I might say, oh, my good friend who's coming is a vegan. Can you accommodate her dietary needs or her food requests? Can you fit that into your plan? Can you make her welcome in that way? To accommodate someone can also mean to give them somewhere to stay, right? I will accommodate my cousin while he's staying in Taipei for a week or something like that. But basically, you're doing things, you're adjusting things, you're altering things to make a visitor or a guest more comfortable. You're kind of fitting it to suit their needs or their requests.
Right, so she's asking the taxi driver if he can accommodate her large suitcase. Remember, a suitcase is countable, but luggage is not. You might hear somebody ask you, how much luggage do you have? Well, I have 1 suitcase, or I have 2 suitcases. And of course, nowadays suitcases have wheels, and it's really hard to imagine that not too long ago suitcases didn't have wheels. We had to drag them around airports without those wheels, but now it's quite convenient. And here to answer her question, the driver says, sure, no problem. I'll adjust the pickup time to 3:30, and don't worry about the suitcase. I've got plenty of space for it. So here you're going to adjust the pickup time, which means to make a little bit of a change. Maybe, for example, your bicycle is a little uncomfortable, so you go down to the bike store and have the repairman there adjust the seat or adjust the chain or whatever to make a little bit of a change so that it's better. And in this case, he's going to change or adjust the pickup time to 3:30, and there's no problem about the large suitcase. He's got space for it. He's got room for it in his large taxi.
That's good. This is fairly common in North America. In Taiwan, sometimes I wanted to take a taxi. I hailed or I flagged the taxi on the street, and when he pulled over, I had a guitar and some small bags. He had 2 large watermelons in his trunk,
wow.
So he could not accommodate my luggage. But in most North American cities, especially in New York, where they're used to tourists, and they love tourists who want to take a taxi out to the airport because it costs so much money, they will probably always have a lot of space in the trunk, in the car, to accommodate your luggage as long as you don't have too much. So plenty of space, lots of space for your suitcase. Don't worry, Molly. She says, great, thank you for being flexible. Thank you for being able to adjust the time and not kind of complain about it, right? I changed the time on the same day, and it's not going to cause you trouble because you're being flexible. You're able to accommodate my new request. So I'll see you at 3:30, she says. Then she adds that question mark, so she would read it as I'll see you at 3:30 then. She's just making sure that this time is the one that they both understand to be the new pickup time, and that is true. The taxi driver says, yes, I'll be there at 3:30, and then he gives her some useful information. Just look out for the yellow cab with the blue logo, because of course yellow is a very common color for taxis, especially in New York and many other places. But his is the the one with the blue logo. A logo is usually a simple company design or sign. A lot of us know the Apple logo, which you see on their products, that apple with the bite taken out. The Nike swoosh, that kind of check mark, that's a logo. And you can probably think of some of the taxi companies here in Taipei with logos, different signs that identify the company, and they'll put that on the car so you know which service, which company, whose cars you're using.
Yep, he's going to arrive with his big yellow taxi, and she's got to look for the blue logo, and so she'll know it's him, and she won't get into the wrong taxi. Remember, we can say taxi, we can say cab, or we can say taxi cab. They're all acceptable. Now here, Molly says, okay, see you then, and thanks again. So indeed, it's all been arranged. The taxi driver seems to be rather flexible in terms of the time, so he's going to arrive a half hour later than the regular time. It's okay, and she will have her transportation. And the driver says, you're welcome. No problem. See you soon. And it seems that she has arranged rather convenient transportation. Okay, that brings us to the end of the first part of our lesson for today. Let's move on now to the second conversation, which is entitled A Delayed Driver. Let's find out what this is all about.
2. A delayed driver. While waiting for the taxi, Molly gets a call from the driver.
Hello, Ms. Price. It's your driver. I'm sorry, but there's been an accident and traffic is pretty backed up. So I may be about 15 minutes late.
Oh no, that's unfortunate. Is there anything we can do to save some time?
Yes, actually. If you could walk to the corner of 5th Avenue and 23rd Street, I could pick you up there. It would be a bit easier to reach that intersection.
I can do that. How long will it take you to get to 5th and 23rd?
I should be there in about 10 minutes.
Okay, I'll head over there now.
Great. See you in a bit.
第二部分介绍形容词 unfortunate， 指的是可惜的、遗憾的或是不幸的。举例来说 It is unfortunate that Stan missed his train. 不幸的是 Stan 错过了他的火车。又或者说It is unfortunate that you couldn't make it to the party. 你不能来参加派对，真是遗憾。最后看到 intersection 这个单字，它是名词，表示十字路口。我们可以说 The traffic lights at the next intersection are not working. 下个十字路口的红绿灯故障了。最后一个例子 The new store is located at the intersection of Main Street and Pleasant Avenue. 那间新的店位于 Main Street 和 Pleasant Avenue 的交叉口。
All right, here we are with part 2, a delayed driver. So we're back with Molly and her taxi driver in this dialogue. I guess her trip hasn't gone smoothly. There's a delay. A delay is basically some time when you have to wait. Things should happen at a certain time. Normal service should occur at a certain time. But because of problems, accidents, mistakes, or just bad luck, you have to wait. So that is a delay, all right? So if there's a delay on something, it means extra time will be required. And the driver is delayed. In this case, of course, the driver and the taxi, since the driver is in the taxi, are both delayed, so Molly has to wait a little bit. It says while waiting for the taxi, Molly gets a call from the driver. Well, okay, if the driver's calling to tell her there's a delay, at least that's good. She's probably not just standing out on the street looking around going, where's that taxi? At least she knows what's going on now that she's answered the call. So let's find out what's going on. The taxi driver says, hello, Ms. Price. It's your driver here. I'm sorry, but there's been an accident. Now we know the reason for the delay. There's been an accident and traffic is pretty backed up. In a busy city like New York, I guess traffic accidents or other problems like that are pretty common, so you can kind of expect that any journey you might end up with some delay because of accidents and other things that just happen. So an accident, a little car crash maybe, and traffic is pretty backed up. If something is backed up, that means it's basically delayed. Things aren't flowing properly. We often use this when we talk about things that should flow and kind of move along at a fairly efficient, regular pace. If your sink gets backed up, maybe there's too much hair in the sink or in the kitchen sink. Someone poured bacon fat down there and it all got stuck. So if the water's backed up, it's not flowing down the pipes. And if you think of traffic flowing and moving around the city in a kind of similar way, if there's a delay because of construction or accidents or something like that, maybe the traffic lights had a problem with a power failure, it causes all sorts of back backup. So even bad weather. Anyone who knows about driving in Taipei in the rain, it can lead to big backups. Traffic can get backed up. It can get delayed. It's not flowing efficiently and smoothly like normal. So the result of all this bad luck means the driver says, so I may be about 15 minutes late. So now it'll be 3:45 pickup, but at least Molly knows.
There is a bit of a delay because traffic is backed up, and so traffic is moving more slowly. And Molly says, oh no, that's unfortunate. If something's unfortunate, it means it's bad. It's something that's not helpful at all. It's kind of damaging my current situation. Is there anything we can do to save some time? So she did delay her pickup time once, but she can't delay it again. I guess she's got to be somewhere very urgently. So this has to be rectified. It has to be solved here. Is there something we can do to save some time? Is there something you can do to speed up the time? Can you put wings on your taxi so it can fly over the traffic? Is there some kind of miracle that you can work? Can you work your magic to come and pick me up so I can get to my destination on time?
All right, so that's a good idea. Maybe they can find a new plan that will help both of them save time. The taxi driver is going to give her the information that will help them save this time. He says, yes, actually, there is something you can do. If you could walk to the corner of 5th Avenue and 23rd Street, I could pick you up there. So maybe she's down one of these side streets. You know, if she walks over to the corner of a busy main street, and of course, that would be 5th Avenue, he can pick her up there. He doesn't have to head down 23rd Street, go around the corner, go around the block, find a place in front of the hotel to pull over. Just pick you up on the corner of that busy street, and then we'll head off towards the airport or wherever. He says this corner would be very convenient. It would be a bit easier to reach that intersection. So as he says, moving around the city with one-way streets and traffic delays and whatnot, traffic being backed up in certain areas, that would be a better place for him to reach. He can get there faster as long as she can walk over there near that intersection. And yet, an intersection is a very convenient place to be picked up because an intersection is where two roads meet. Usually roads will cross, forming a sort of a plus sign if you're looking at it on a map, one going north-south, one going east-west, and you reach that corner or that intersection, and it will be easy to pick you up no matter which direction the car is coming from.
And they also did not really specify where at the intersection they should meet. Should it be the northeast corner, the northwest corner, etc.? But I'm sure they'll work it out. And Molly says, I can do that. Even though it might be a little inconvenient, I can still walk down to that intersection. How long will it take you to get to 5th and 23rd? How much time do you need to actually drive there and arrive to that particular location?
And he says, I should be there in about 10 minutes. So if it was 15 minutes to pick up Molly where she is currently, if she moves over to the intersection to that corner, they will save 5 minutes of time. So that sounds pretty good. And Molly is a willing person. She says, okay, I'll head over there now. So she's the kind of person who just wants things to start moving. So she's happy to do the moving herself. If she has to move to that corner in order to get on her journey a little bit faster, she is willing. And the taxi driver says, great, see you in a bit. So he isn't going to be more delayed. He can get Molly to her destination closer to the time that she had hoped for.
Yep, in a bit just means a short amount of time. So they have made this arrangement here, and it looks like he's going to get there in not too long an amount of time. And there probably will be some delay, but not too much. And as you know, if you've ever been to New York City, it's pretty easy to get around because the avenues go all north and south, and the streets go all east and west. So it's pretty easy to figure out where to go. That would be different from cities in Europe where the streets go all over the place and all sorts of directions and their names change. So feel lucky if you go to New York because it is pretty easy to get around. And if you don't have the money or the time to take a taxi or a bus, take the subway. They go all over the place.
Absolutely.
Okay, that brings us to the end of our discussion for today. Here comes Hanny, our beloved Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。在第一部分对话里， Molly 打电话给计程车司机，希望能将预定接送的时间从3点调整到3点半。 另外他还有一个大手提箱，希望司机能够通融。好，这个段落呢，他有用到2个动词 accommodate 和 adjust， 我们分别来看它们的字首字根。首先要介绍的是 MOD 或是 MODE 这一类的字根，表示测量、衡量或者是方式。那么在 accommodate 这个字当中，字首 AC 是来自 AD， 表示朝向。那么 COM 表示彻底或者是做强调用。那么字根 MOD 是衡量， ATE 是动词字尾。那同学们可以试着想，当你朝着对着目标对象彻底衡量出精确的因应方式，这样也许可以联想到 accommodate， 它有这种适应啊、配合、满足、迎合的意思。那么旅馆呢，在规划住房来迎合顾客需求时，或者是像我们场地在规划容纳人数时，也必须经过精密的衡量。所以呢，用这个方式也许还可以联想到 accommodate， 它有容纳，为什么来提供空间住宿的意思。好，顺便补充2个这一类字根的单字。第一个是 moderate， 它的字根 MODE 表示衡量， ATE 是形容词字尾。那当某事物的数量有经过衡量，不会太多也不会太少，那就表示它是适量的。用这样的方式我们去联想 moderate， 它可以形容适度的、适中的或是节制的、温和的。第2个补充的是 modify， 它的字根 MOD 表示度量、衡量。那么 IFY 是动词字尾，把某事物控制在范围内，适度调整，不要让它超出这个我们衡量、度量的范围。用这个方式也许可以联想到 modify， 它有调整、修改的意思。好，那么接着要介绍的是JUST 或者是 JUD 或者是 JUR 这一类字根，它有正确的或者是判断的意思。那么很多跟法律相关的字呢，都带有这一类字根，像 judge 法官，它也可以当动词去表达判决、评断，那它就带有这一类的字根。还有像 jury 是陪审团。那我们看到 adjust 这个字当中，它的字首 AD 表示朝向， just 表示正确的。我们在调手表时间或者是调音量的时候，就是要把它朝正确或者是适当的状态来做调整。那这样也许就可以联想到 adjust， 它有调整、调节或者是改变以适应什么什么的意思了。好，我们也补充一下2个有这一类字根的单字。第一个是 justify， 它的字根 just 表示正确的， IFY 是动词字尾，那合在一起 justify 就是表达使合理化，证明什么什么是正当的。第2个补充的是 prejudice， 它的字首 PRE 表示事先，字根 JUD 表示评断， ICE 是名词字尾。那么事先对某人事物做出评断，应该很容易就联想到 prejudice， 它有偏见或是成见的意思咯。好，那以上今天重点整理，我们来回顾今天单字吧。
Pick up. They arranged a pickup from the airport. Accommodate. We changed the time of the event to accommodate her schedule. Adjust. Tom adjusted the volume on the TV so that he could hear it better. Unfortunate. It was unfortunate that the picnic was canceled due to rain.
Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Mike.
I am Roger. See you next time.